Y'all, we got to get into this. There is so much controversy regarding Josephine right now that she is just a early game kind of a newbie base healer, and I have such a different experience with her that I just want to kind of share because I feel like the opinions that are formed on her are just looking at her on the surface. She's handed to you in the beginning of the game. She has a, not that great of a kit you might have thought, so you just were like, okay, screw this. I'm going to go ahead and get Popo. And Popo's great. Awesome. They're totally different. They do not have the same uses. So I would like to go over Josephine's contract and break down her skills for you a step at a time because I feel like there's a lot to her that maybe you have to have a little bit of experience with her or a little bit of work put into her to notice. Right off the bat, high power energy inflicts damage to the enemies by 24% of the attack 3 times. Whenever you promote this, it will recover the HP of whoever is in the middle of that by a percentage of Josephine's total HP when there's an ally in that direction. So that is a 3 skill AoE. And whenever I say AoE, I mean area of effect. Area of effect does not always mean a giant circle around the user. It just means anything that can hit multiple enemies in a specific area. So this is an area of effect. It is a line, okay, that can hit with up to 2 people in the width and up to like 4 or 5 in the length, and it hits them 3 times. So if Popo puts a shield on his team, if you can line up 2 or 3 of them, you can absolutely remove every stack of shield because it will take off a tick every time the damage hits. As well with iron, we see Iron a lot in the arena. Whenever he does his 3rd skill, he can get 3 or up to 4 ticks of damage ignore, which is huge. That's 4 times you could do 1,000,000 damage to him, and it just does nothing. So instead of having to worry about getting through him with 4 turns, you can get rid of 3 of those stacks immediately with Josephine, as well as anybody that's also in that line will either be healed if they're on your team, or be damaged or have their shield gotten rid of as well if they're on the enemy team. So this is a very underrated 1st skill. Just because it does not do a lot of damage does not mean it does not have a good utility. Moving on, Nanoparticle recovers the selected ally's HP except for your own by 36% of Josephine's total HP. But before we go any farther, I just want to apologize if you hear screaming explosions. That's just part of my job. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but just try to move past it. Whenever you promote this skill, it grants a protection effect based off up to 20% of her total HP for 2 turns. So also, I believe with her, is it her exclusive equipment or her card? It's probably her exclusive equipment. Yes. Okay. Whenever you have her legendary exclusive equipment, Nanoparticle also recovers all allies on the path, which makes this another AoE heal. So anyone that is in the path of your target will also be healed and also grant the protection. Now, I want to emphasize that this is both a heal and a protection. So if the enemy has a unrecoverable on you, an unrecoverable debuff, you can benefit from the shield. If the enemy has a stripper, you can still benefit from the heal. As well as that will heal everyone in your direction. So we're 2 for 2 AoE multi-use abilities. Moving on, Magnetic Bomb grants the protection of effect to the allies of 30% of Josephine's total HP for 2 turns. Whenever you skill this up, it also increases the attack speed of the allies for 2 turns. So this is the traditional AoE in a circle around her cast. And what it does is it's going to put a shield and an attack speed buff on them. And I feel like that is her biggest, most important function, is that attack speed buff, but no one has her SSR card skilled up to the point where they can actually utilize that. Because if we take a look at it, whenever you promote her SSR skill and this ability gets skilled up, it only goes to 30%. So you have to skill it up 3 times for it to be 60%, which still does not cover everyone that it's going to hit. It's not going to land. So that's where effect accuracy comes into play. Not only does effect accuracy increase the chance that debuffs will be laid on an enemy, in this game it also increases buffs that are landed by chance. It increases the chance for them to do that. So she is very much in game in her stat requirements. She's going to need a lot of speed so that she could get off the speed buff first turn. She's going to need a lot of HP so that her heals are able to heal for a moderate amount, and that shield will also be for an increased amount. And she's going to need a lot of effect accuracy, I think up to 80 or 100, in order to make this a 100% chance. So definitely, if you have her early game and she's feeling underwhelming, then there's a reason for that, because she takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to get to sort of that in-game effect, and I do truly think that she's going to be a great in-game unit. Her rage skill consumes 50 of your rage bar and moves close to the ally with the lowest HP except you to recover the HP by 10% of Josephine's total HP using 10% of your rage bar. So what that means is she walks up to an ally and then she heals them, ticking 5 times. And the rage drops every time, so that if she's interrupted in the middle of the rage skill, she does not lose her entire rage bar. Grants the protection effect on the ally by 20% of your total HP for 2 turns. The rage skill will end when the ally's HP is fully recovered. So this will absolutely continue to tick on and on forever until the ally is fully healed, unless she is interrupted, as well as it has built-in protection, and whenever you skill it up, it grants the protection effect of the ally based on Josephine's total HP up to 50%. So that is another big hitter, preventative. She's going to put another shield, another heal. If your enemy is bringing multiple strippers, because she will have multiple shields to put up, and they're bringing unrecoverable, that is a lot to have to bring to deal with one unit. So she does bring that to the table, where she makes the enemy have to think about their composition. If they want to get around her, they're going to have to plan on it, especially whenever it gets to the end game. Moving on to reviews, I don't really want to get into them too much. There's some not so nice reviews in there, but basically, like I said before, people seem to think she is early game. Whenever you get her SSR card, the passive she gets recovers your HP by 10% of the recovery when you recover an ally's HP. So anytime she heals an ally, she will also be healing herself. So if we want, we can go ahead and take a look at her in the preview. I'll show you some of what I'm talking about in action, and then we can take a look at how I have mine built for now. So right off the bat, if we see, this is your level 1 Josephine. When you first got her, you thought she sucked. She can still hit enemies multiple times with her first skill, as long as you have them lined up correctly. Her heal isn't going to do anything but be a heal at this point, and it's only going to heal for a little bit. Nothing too great, and the protection is only going to be a small protection based off a low-level Josephine's HP. So I absolutely understand why you would think this unit sucks whenever you first get her, because she does. She is very underwhelming, and it will take a lot of work to get her to this point. Whenever we look at her with her SSR card and everything fully skilled up, she changes tremendously. She basically becomes an entirely different unit. For this first skill, she's still just going to do damage that ticks, but whenever she uses that, if the ally was in between, that ally would be healed. The second skill, whenever she heals the ally, not only will it heal the ally, it'll heal herself because of her card, and put a shield on the ally too. So that's very useful in multiple ways. Whenever she does this AoE buff, it will not hit her, but it will hit everyone in the range and put a movement speed buff on them. You can get that up to 100%. And a shield, which is tremendously important. It will make your entire team take multiple turns. And just to see her rage skill in action, she will do this until the ally's HP is fully recovered. And if you interrupt her, she will maintain some of her rage skill. So that's a little bit of seeing her in action. I hope that this helps, alleviate some of the stress that you may have had if you built Josephine and you were worried about wasting those resources. I absolutely do not think they were a waste. I'm not going to say if she's good for your team. I'm not going to say if she's bad for your team. I'll say for my team, she has done what I set her out to accomplish, and she's only getting better as I increase her skills. So let's go ahead and just take a look at mine real quick, and I'll break down her stats and which ones should take priority. Where are you? She's right up here. So if you take a look at her, also, she usually has this blue pill on. I have it on Amy right now, but this increases her attack bar by 150 when the battle begins to get the speed buff on as fast as possible. I already have her SS card promoted to +4, and it's not even close to what I need for her to accomplish. So Since I have the second skill at +2, it's a 45% chance. I believe I have 40% effect accuracy on her, which increased it by 20%, which is accurate if you're rounding 40%, then 18%. So you'll need 80 to 100%, depending on soft caps, in order to get that to 100% chance to land the speed buff whenever she does that AoE. So taking a look at her stats, obviously a very big one is going to be attack speed. You're going to want as high of an attack speed as possible because as your attack bar fills, hers will fill first and she will put a buff of speed on your allies that will help the rest of their attack bar increase over time. So if she takes a turn long before her allies will, the more HP or the more speed bar that they have to fill, the faster that can fill based on how high her attack speed was whenever she initially casted it. Moving on, she's going to need HP. Your shields are based off of how much healing you do. Your healing you do is based off your max HP, so that's a no-brainer. Very important stat to need is HP. Moving on, the last thing you'll need is effect accuracy because you will only need that up to 80, up to 100%. So once you get that, you can cut it out. You always want to work on speed, always want to work on HP. If you had to choose for any stats after that, I would say defense clearly. And effect resistance would be tied for importance, so that if she gets stunned or something, you want that resistance to negate that, or if she gets a hard hit, you want the defense to make that hit not so hard. Crit rate, crit damage, pen rate, attack, it's all pretty underwhelming. I wouldn't worry about it too much for right now. But that's going to be it for Josephine. If you made it this far, congratulations, because you are bear witness to my new outro. I'm trying to make everything interesting, keep it fun for y'all. I really appreciate my viewers here. Y'all are really cool and nice. So hopefully this changes your mind about Josephine a little bit and we can see how she works for the end game, because I will continue to work on her. But other than that, I took the Heroes War, trailer, and I clipped together some of what I thought were the most interesting parts so that I could make my little outro for you. So without further ado, roll the tape. I'll see y'all later. Bye.